I want to talk about an incident that took place in Palestine during the British Mandate of 1920 to 1948. During this period, the British occupied Palestine with the aim of creating separate Jewish and Arab states, a task which often put them at odds with the local population, sometimes spilling into violence. I first read about this incident in a journal article called The Banality of Brutality, British Armed Forces and the Repression of the Arab Revolt in Palestine, 1936 to 1939, by Matthew Hughes. What I read in the article was so shocking that I had to obtain the original source material in order to read for myself what happened. The source in question is a book called British Colonialism, 30 Years Serving Democracy or Hypocrisy, by Harry Arrigione. The book is an account of over 30 years of service to the British Empire during the early and mid-20th century. And as the title of the book suggests, the account is a critical one. During his time in Palestine, Arrigione was witness to the aftermath of a brutal British reprisal to an attack by Palestinian militants during the Palestinian Revolt. On the 13th of September 1938, a British Army vehicle was blown up by a landmine, killing 4 British soldiers and seriously injuring 2 others. 3 days later, a force of about 20 British soldiers was dispatched to the village of al-Bassa, where it was suspected that the men responsible for the mine attack were from. The British soldiers began burning down houses and rounding up the villagers, killing several during the ensuing panic. Eventually the soldiers herded approximately 20 men of the village onto a bus, which was then forced to drive over landmines buried by the British. The explosions completely destroyed the bus, scattering the maimed and mutilated bodies of the men inside. Surviving villagers were then forced to dig a pit and throw the bodies of their kin unceremoniously into it. Like I said, shocking, and the levels of brutality that we have come to associate with the region's most brutal dictators, or even the Islamic State. The paper in which I read about the al-Bassa massacre, The Banality of Brutality, gives a wider account of British mistreatment of Palestinians during the Palestinian Revolt. Not forgetting that the British were in charge of mandates across the Middle East in order to prepare various peoples for self-government, I will leave you with a series of tweets summarising British actions in Palestine as described in The Banality of Brutality.